All right, let's start breaking down some news. I'm going to start with what was the single most read story in TCPAWorld history. 4 years we've been running this blog, thousands of articles. This is the #1 story. Phone burner was essentially crippled, wounded, put into the critical intensive care unit by the FCC when he issued an order last month finding that a company called MV Realty was using phone burner to send allegedly illegal calls. Here's the problem, and there's a couple of problems here. First, the FCC's ruling, which was directed to carriers, telling every single carrier in the United States of America it could no longer carry the traffic of phone burner respecting the MV Realty messages, was very confusing. The carriers, as I saw this coming a mile away, the carriers thought that what the FCC was saying is you have to cut off all phone burner traffic. And guess what happened? Phone burner, an extremely popular, and as far as I know, fairly compliant, despite its stupid name, company, was shut down. The carriers just stopped carrying its traffic. And for 2 days, they were unable to provide any services to any of their customers. Kind of reminds me of Trump and Pepper. We'll get to that. And it was a complete disaster for a phone burner. And it was really, as far as I can tell, it wasn't even their fault. Now, look, let me pause. I don't know, right? It might have been. Phone burner might have been completely aware that MV Realty was sending illegal messages and just went ahead and carried them anyway. But the findings of the FCC don't go that far. In fact, according to the ruling, there was no effort to speak with phone burner whatsoever to determine whether or not it even knew that the messages of MV Realty that were being sent out were illegal if they were. And I keep saying if they were because there wasn't even a sufficient finding in the order to conclude that MV Realty was doing anything illegal. There was a notation that about 26 consumers, a couple dozen consumers, had complained about messages that they'd received from MV Realty. I mean, that's something. It's not conclusive proof, but it is something. On the other hand, the FCC apparently interviewed former employees of MV Realty, but not their current employees, and asked them, hey, do you guys call people on the D&C list without permission? And what was weird is that although they set up the investigation and they set up the action, the FCC did, by suggesting that they were calling numbers on the national D&C list without any consent, all they heard from the former employees was not that. They heard that there was some do not call requests that weren't heeded. So people were saying, hey, don't call me anymore, but they still received calls. So these were two kind of different narratives. Neither of them were predicated on anything that would be admissible in court. And really, the FCC never even drew a final conclusion that there was anything illegal that took place, even by MV Realty. And yet it issued an order essentially to every single carrier in the country to either stop carrying this traffic or alternatively, you carriers go off and conduct your own investigation and let us, the FCC, know if you conclude that maybe these weren't illegal to begin with. What do you think is going to happen? Well, we know what happened. Phone burner essentially got shut off for a couple of days. It's a complete disaster. And look, I'm not faulting the commission necessarily because I understand what they're after, right? They want to stop illegal scam robocalls. So do we. Everybody is in agreement with that. But what the commission, I think, in my opinion, at this moment needs to recognize is that when it fires off one of these orders, dude, it's got massive, massive impact on the industry. I mean, again, phone burner has a very significant footprint. And to see that entire platform get shut down because of something that it may or may not have even known it was doing wrong, yeesh, man, that is very strong medicine. So anyway, just a remarkable story. And of course, again, the most read story on TCPAWorld ever. This really, really resonated with people. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts, but I mean, it just really, it struck a chord with so many folks, lots of engagement around it. People were really scared.
Is that what pushed us to get 1 million views?
No, actually, we had 1 million views before that. It's a good point. TCPAWorld now well over 1 million views. We actually hit the 1 million view mark before that story came out. But yeah, it was definitely a remarkable thing.